Welcome to the Daily Plunge. We are going through the book of Acts, chapter 15 today, starting at verse 36 through chapter 16, verse 5. Now, Paul says he wants to go back to Galatia in the center of Turkey to go back to the churches where they had preached and taught and to sort of go back and re-equip the disciples that they had been with. And the problem is that Barnabas, his friend, wants to bring along a guy named Mark. Well, Mark bailed on them. And we have to remember that there was a time when Paul was dragged out of the city of Derbe and they pelted him at stones and tried to kill him. And in the midst of this persecution, Mark bailed. And Paul has hard feelings about it. And I can understand why. He's like, I don't know if I can trust Mark to stay with us. Now, this is the same Mark who will end up writing the gospel. And so Paul and Barnabas split over this. And I think about how, we can have hard feelings in our church when things go sideways on something and perhaps we have a hard time we remember what happened. We have a hard time letting go and forgiving them. I also think that, there's different personalities in every congregation because we all have different personalities. And where Paul is hard driving, some of the very things that make him a strong apostle are also his shortcomings. And Barnabas, who is nicknamed Mr. Encouragement himself, that's his nickname, he's like, well, let's work with Mark and try to strengthen him as a leader. So they part ways. And, we just can't escape our personalities. They are part of who we are. And all of us, our ministry, our faith flows through who we are, through our personalities. And we all come at things a little bit differently. And part of the thing is having some patience with that. I think the other thing to see in this passage is that, church disagreements have always been there from the very beginning. And there are different perspectives on how to approach ministry. Doesn't mean that one is right and the other one is wrong, unless it comes down to the essence of the gospel. But approaches, the methods, could be different. Now, Paul then decides to bring Timothy with him. He was someone who he had encouraged, who taught the faith to, and we're told that his mother was Jewish and was a God-fearing believer, but that his father was Greek. And for this reason, Paul has him circumcised. And you might say, whoa, wait a minute. We just all throughout chapter 15, which we just finished, was about the whole issue of why circumcision would not be necessary. Why does Paul have Timothy circumcised? Well, it's not for Timothy's sake. The reason why is for the sake of the ministry. And sometimes as Christians, we have to decide not to put another obstacle in the way of those we're trying to reach. And that's really the methodical decision that Paul makes here. I think no matter how we look at this story, it's trying to ask, where is God in the midst of this and how is he guiding us to go forward as his people? Well, thanks, my friends. Have a blessed day.